It is Monday, May the 11th, and we got a lot of freaking stuff to talk about. So do us a favor, kick back, relax. We don't need an introduction. Unbiased starts now. Let's talk some stuff. Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome back into a new episode of Unbiased, only on the good old 609 Sports Talk Radio. This is the show that brings you all your unbiased sports talk that you guys can handle. And as always, we are your hosts, Tyler Adams, Sam Nelson. Tyler, happy Monday. How was the weekend?
Happy Monday. Oh, it was a good weekend. Can't complain. Definitely a lot better than for the fans of Philadelphia.
Not even 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes into the show.
Nope, 1:30 into the show.
That's awesome. Well, first off, before we get started, want to give a happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. Was it a good Mother's Day in the Adams family?
I'd say so.
Sorry. But no, I'm glad. Glad everyone had a great Mother's Day. I, of course, am now the big 3-0. So
that's it.
Yeah. Let's not do it.
Milkman, what's up?
I know exactly who that is.
Love it. Love to see it.
Why are you? First off, I know who it is. Why are you doing it? Do not do it through our Facebook page.
I love it.
Someone's trying to hide their identity. There's only 3 people that have the ability to do that.
The 609 Ghost.
The 609 Ghost? Yeah, I know who it is, too. But anyway, hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. Weekend is over. Another week is here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, a little bit of everything tonight. We got some NFL news. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Got some NBA playoff talk. I guess we'll have to talk about that, unfortunately. But, Tyler, we got some breaking college basketball news last week.
Yeah.
Effective next season. We're not even waiting. We're just throwing this out. We're transfer portal, NIL money in this thing. We're just throwing it out there and seeing if it sticks. The NCAA Basketball Tournament for both men and women next year is going from 64 to 76 teams. Someone's about to lose access to the 609 page unless they switch their account and expose themselves.
Oh, man.
Those comments are not popping up on my screen. But, thanks, Tyler.
You're welcome, Sam.
So, okay, get this stuff out of here. Let's go. So, a 12-team tournament expansion. Tyler, kick us off, man. What do you think? I know there's a lot to look into the article, but I just want to get the initial thoughts.
I mean, I'll be honest, initial thoughts. I thought the tournament was big enough already. I thought it brought a lot of competition in already. You got your few teams that go on their Cinderella runs, few upsets in the first round. But for the most part, most of the teams that make it in, they all compete with each other. This wasn't the sport that needed an expanded format. Football, that needed an expanded format. Basketball, I think it was perfect where it was. George says it perfect. Watering down the product. It's not needed. You already could have argued maybe it was a stretch as it was. but that's also the excitement of March Madness. I don't think adding more teams in makes it more exciting. I think it will have the opposite effect.
Yeah, and again, and I'll tell you a big reason why I think it's being expanded. I think it has a lot to do with because I'll tell you right now, if you guys think the college football transfer portal is a mess, go look at college basketball. That's like, do you remember
Oh yeah.
2016 NBA free agency where everybody was getting max contracts and Nick Batum was signing for like $70 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's college basketball in the transfer portal. Everybody is hitting that portal. It's like NBA free agency out there. And I think a lot of this I think that is the big reason why this is happening because of all these schools that are putting out all the NIL money, all the transfer portal stuff happening. And they want to, if the best players go to schools that don't make it, it's kind of bad for the transfer portal and the NIL product.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like it. I don't think we need 76 teams. I mean, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? We're going to add a whole other week to this?
Maybe.
Like a whole,
But
we're at least have to add a whole couple days at least to this start going forward.
yeah. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware. They're adding an additional 8 teams to the tournament. It's from one of the reports I'm seeing, it's 68 to 76. So
Well, there's only 64 to begin. No, there's only 64.
Was it? Then why? Everything's saying 68. Are we sure? Oh wait, unless if are you not thinking about the first 4 in or whatever
Yes.
it is that first day? That might be why, because they're technically counting those teams.
Okay.
They technically made the March Madness tournament, the first 4.
Okay. Fair enough, I guess.
So when you look at it from that standpoint, you're not adding in much more. So maybe they have more plans for this. Maybe they'll have this actually, as I'm thinking of it, sounds very stupid, but I'm going to say it anyways. What if they have a little tournament for those teams that will barely make it in to decide those remaining, like, let's say 12 slots? What used to be the first 4 in plus the additional 8 teams. Let's say you have those 12 teams. I don't know. I don't like it either way. Zolt, 100% agree. Nobody asked for this.
For what money are they going to? So more can they ask for?
They picked the wrong sport. People were asking for an expanded college layout. No one asked for an expanded March Madness.
Even that we're skeptical on.
Yeah, because like you can't water it down with them either.
Well, the only reason we're going to get hold on. The only reason we're going to get an expanded college football playoff again is because one team is a bunch of crybabies and lost their top 2 games of the season and said, "Oh well, you shouldn't be judged off your first 2 games of the season." That's like an NFL team going back before we had more games. That's like an NFL team going 8-8, and because they only lost 6 games the rest of the year, they should still automatically get in. That's what that sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
Well, first off, let's say this: the NIT tournaments. I mean, I don't think nobody really cared about those to begin with. No offense to the teams that play in the NIT, that's going to be gone. There's no point of that tournament now.
They haven't officially announced that, so
it's already low popularity to begin with.
You're right.
So, I for one, I don't love this idea. I think we're just watering down a product that's already good. It's already perfect. It's 64 teams. There's always the underdogs. There's the Loyola Chicagos of the world that come in and they stun the world. You know, Duke's going out before the Elite Eight every year, so that's always fun. But there's nothing better in life in college sports than Duke and Ohio State losing in their respective sports.
Sports.
Well, Ohio State's actually a decent basketball school as well, but still. Dalton, good evening, brother.
Dalton.
Anybody who wants to catch birds of the gridiron on Friday night, Dalton will be our special guest. Dalton, happy Monday, brother.
Oh yeah, happy Monday. Good to see you.
Dalton says as a UNC fan. Dalton,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately, Dalton, unfortunately, I am a fan of the school that produced three guys that play for the New York Knicks. Go Nova. But
You mean the Nova Knicks?
well, I mean, hey, they're responsible for the most recent banners basketball wise hung in that stadium. Oh, Dalton always F Duke. Real funny, George. Real funny. I'm kind of bummed out we don't have the Ohio State and hey Dalton, here's the thing. I still love those three. I didn't love them for the past 4 games. But just for the people that said Villanova never produced NBA talent, ha. But yeah, again, I feel like we are watering down college basketball. I mean, 64 teams. It's been how long has it been 64? Decades?
Long time. Probably as long as I've been watching the tournament, it's been that.
So yeah, I don't see the point. I don't see the point of doing this. I really don't. I don't like it. I think I think we're just watering down the entire product.
This is basically what's in the best interest for NCAA. That's it. Not the fans. They'll argue it's better for the schools because more schools will get a chance to get into the tournament.
That part, I will say, I do feel bad for some of the kids that that sit there on Selection Sunday, and that kind of even waters down that Selection Sunday is like traditional. That's awesome to watch, and I do say I feel for the kids that do miss out on that opportunity. But you know what? Guess what? If these kids go to a school and they miss out on the tournament 1 year, they're just going to transfer to a team that gives them the opportunity again. That's the
Yeah.
point. You're going to try to make it fair for the schools, but what's not fair to the schools is that Villanova's entire roster is going to look completely different next year outside of 2 players. Tyler Perkins and Matt Hodge are the only 2 returning next year. Everybody else left. Bryce Lindsley is on his 4th team in 4 years.
Jeez.
Caden Lewis was a freshman, was handed the starting point guard role, which, by the way, under Jay Wright, it was impossible to be a starter as a freshman point guard in his system. Look at Jalen Brunson. He had to get past Ryan Arcidiacono. Colin Gillespie had to get past him. Caden Lewis came to Villanova this past year, was the starter. It was handed a hefty NIL sum and still left to go to somewhere else. Like the NIL, and that's the thing, these teams are going to look so different year in and year out. And don't get me wrong, I know college football is the same way. College football also, I get it. Those are huge rosters. A college basketball roster is only, 15 to 20 guys?
Yeah.
On a minimum, probably. But, like, again, you're just watering down the product. And I don't feel like you have to do it. I feel like, again, what Zolt said, I think it's a money grab.
I like what Dalton said. 64 teams, it's still a lot.
It
Me
is.
personally, I'd like to see an even smaller tournament. But that shortens it. They're not going to make as much money off of the whole month long. So, yeah, it comes down to it's all about the money. That's it. They're going to have more games to televise, more money for televising those games, sponsorships, whatever you name it. And it's in the best interest for the NCAA.
It's not, again, it's a money grab. You're going to add at least 3, maybe 5 days to the tournament. So that's more TV money. I mean, they got all the contracts, between TNT, TBS, CBS, True TV. They have all those TV deals. So that's more money. Yeah, that's the point. The whole thing is a grab. But yeah, 76, man. I could barely keep up with when it gets to the Sweet 16.
That's when I start paying attention.
Honestly, I agree with Dalton. I agree with Dalton too when he said even 64 is a lot. Like,
Yeah. I'd be happy with a 32 team tournament.
uh you're taking 2 whole rounds out of that.
Yeah. And that'll be the legitimate top teams in the nation going up against each other.
Yeah, but then you're
But
writing off the Cinderella aspect,
yeah,
which
I
that's
get it.
still a big part
Whatever.
of the thing.
Yeah, it is a big part of it. It's always fun to see Loyola Chicago knock off a 1 seed.
All right, so I'm just going to read through a little bit at the top of this article. Of the 68 teams in last season's tournament, 31 were automatic bids. Each conference receives 1 apiece, and 37 were at-large bids chosen by the selection committee based on various metrics. So yeah, and like, what are the metrics going to be for now that we have 76 teams? Strength of schedule,
Yeah.
strength of opponents you beat, win-loss record. Like, how are we going to determine? How do you have metrics for 76 teams?
Well, I mean, most of it is going to follow the same formula. They're just going to have to pick more teams based off it.
Yes, because college football has done a great job with that by just striking the
Hey,
iron
I'm not
hot and just
saying we have to trust them, but they're gonna try their best, and yeah, we'll see what we get.
like we are letting almost a third of college basketball now into the tournament. And again, I feel like this is fueled by the transfer portal and the NIL situation because of the amount of schools that are switching over rosters now. Where are we going to? Are we going to keep letting these kids jump from year to year? I mean, like I said, guys like Bryce Lindsley, they're on their 14 in 4 years. Like, how are you ever going to expect to be a consistent tournament team if your roster is going to change over every single year?
Oh wait, guess what I just read, Sam?
Shoot
I
it.
was actually kind of right. The first 4 is going to evolve into a 12-game opening round.
Oh my God. So
I
we're
was
having a tournament to get in the tournament. Oh my.
kind of, yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
So, oh, no. Let's just say it. College basketball just added a freaking play in. They just
yes,
added a play in.
they did.
You are so lucky that I pride myself on being the voice of the people. I'd end the freaking show right now if I could.
I know you
So
would.
college basketball just set up a play-in tournament.
Yes, 12-game opening round.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Making money.
They're making money, all right.
Oh yeah, they are.
That's such a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, I think the tournament was already too much to begin with. I thought 64 was a stretch, but you got the round of 64, then you got the round of 32, then you got the cool names, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four. That's cool. Heck, if you want to actually take away from 64, you want to start at. You think 48's a decent number?
48. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a
I don't
fair
see why
number.
not.
So I mean, again, I think Zoltan and George are spot on. It's all money. I also
Yeah.
agree with Dalton's point earlier. I think 64 already is a stretch, but yeah, I don't like it. I think this is it's a cash grab, and like, do we really think there are 76 worthy teams to go to the tournament? I don't want to watch an entire first round of blowouts
Yeah.
because that's what you're setting yourself up for. Because that's the beauty of college basketball's tournament is you could have a team that hasn't really played any of these top teams all year. So they don't have film on them. They don't
Yeah.
watch them. They haven't seen them. And that's how upsets happen.
So
Now it's like,
we'll still get those, but you gotta wait. I have the NCAA's explanation on how it's gonna work here.
oh,
So
please explain.
it's going from 2 games per day over 2 days to 6 games. Yeah, they're gonna play 6 games each day to get all the 12 games in. It's
Yeah, good
going to
luck with that.
be the 12 lowest seeded automatic qualifiers versus the 12 lowest seeded at large bid teams. So you're literally getting the bottom of the barrel duking it out for the official entry, basically. They're not saying that, but that's what it is. This is a play-in round for the NCAA tournament. Because from there, that's going to leave you with 64 teams remaining, which gets you to round of 32, round of 16, Elite 8, Final Four, championship game.
We're literally adding a play-in tournament to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So June 1st, so June 15th, the NCAA tournament will wrap up, and about June 30th, the finals will wrap up. So we'll be playing
More
basketball till July.
Basically, yeah.
But I will say something. This does give college basketball a chance. Let's be fair. What's our favorite time of the year? As sports fans, what is our favorite time of the year?
Football season.
Exactly. No, you're right. No, spot on.
Oh, I was
When
actually
college
joking.
football. No, it's what else is more exciting? It's when the college football and NFL season kick off within weeks of each other. Every Saturday and Sunday, we are moving our schedules around because by 12 o'clock noon on Saturday and 1 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, I'm at the front of the TV and watching football. Can we say, with college football expanding, they are more of a viable product because now there is a more chance for other schools to win the whole thing. It was not fair for all those years with 4 schools. And by the way, the 4 schools never changed. It was Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and the 4th team would change. It'd be LSU for a year, then it'd be Clemson. Then it'd be Notre Dame for a year. Oh, yeah. Okay, Cam Newton.
For the 2 years.
Yeah, for like 2 whole years. But now you do have 12 teams that get a chance to duke it out for the national title. Would you say that college football now, it's almost like any wrestling company outside of WWE. Like TNA was close at a point to WWE, right?
Yeah.
AEW, we thought for a little bit was close to WWE, but WWE is still the mecca. It's never going to be rivaled by anybody. Well, now maybe because it's a joke, but college football, I think the popularity is higher now than it was about 5-6 years ago because of the amount of teams that have a chance to compete. However, it's never going to be the NFL. They're never going to outduke the NFL. They're the mecca. They're everywhere. The NBA, in our opinion, have we not said this over the past 5 years? It's a dying product.
It is.
Is this college basketball trying to take that popularity from them and put it into their product? Because honestly, college basketball is way more entertaining than the NBA right now. I don't even think it's a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been more exciting. So, I mean, well, now you got the NIL money nowadays, right? But before then, you just have these kids out here competing for a chance to make it to the league, trying to showcase their abilities. And that still is true for the most part. I mean, but now there is some NIL money nowadays.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But no, it's always exciting to watch college sports.
But like I said, I think there's a better shot that college basketball could take popularity away from the NBA than college football taking it away from the NFL. The NFL is still always going to be the mecca. It's never going to be beat. However, the NBA, I mean, you hear it every day how much the NBA is a dying product. The pace of play sucks. Just the quality of play. It's 3-pointers and flops the whole game. Nobody plays defense. Nobody values the mid-range jump shot. You can't play defense because of the rule changes. And it's just teams chucking up 53s. Like it's a joke. College basketball, though, you still see the old school style of play. College basketball's game, yeah, there's a lot more shooting than it used to be, but it hasn't gone away from its game. Like it's still kind of the same. I think this is them saying, okay, well, unlike the NBA, we're adding a play-in, but ours will be 10 times better. Because the NBA play-in's a joke.
Oh, yeah.
It's a joke.
For the most part.
Sorry, but no offense. When you're a team like Miami, sometimes in Atlanta, and you don't have the guts to go out and spend to become an Eastern Conference contender, and you want to live in the play-in, that's okay. However, hold on, because hold on. But I'm okay with when they're in there because guess what? At least they are viable and win 40-plus games. We have had 38-win teams go to the postseason. Are we really okay with that? You are rewarding teams for winning 38 games. What are we doing? At least in college basketball, you are adding 12 more teams that are winners. At least they win games. We have literally awarded.
Now with this new format, you're probably going to have a few losing records in there.
I highly doubt you're going to see a lot of losing records in 12 more teams. There's over 1,400 college basketball teams in the country.
That is true.
How many teams have been within a game of Selection Sunday and got robbed in the past?
Yeah.
That's the point they're trying to make. They're trying to eliminate those teams that have to play in the. Like I said, I think this is going to spell the end completely of the NIT tournament, which nobody cares. Not to be rude, nobody cares. I never watch it. I watched a half of the year Villanova was in it, and I'm like, this is not my standard. I'm out of here. But the point is, they are trying to say our play-in will be better. Yours is a joke because it is. The NBA play-in tournament, if you really want to end tanking the NBA, you go back to the old format and say, okay, guess what? We're going to mess the lottery up. You're not going to be guaranteed the pick every year. Oh, but by the way, if you're still not a top 8 team, you're not a postseason team. All the play-in has done is basically told owners, I can win 35 games and get in the playoffs and get the league off my back. Ooh, Joshua Harris, someone call his freaking name. That's his freaking dream. I'll get to him in a minute. But yeah, again, it's watering down the product. I cannot believe that it took us only 27 minutes to undercover the fact they're adding a play into the NCAA tournament, which is the most sacred tournament in all sports. I'm not happy with that. I don't like it. I already have a hard time in the round of 64. Now I got to keep track of 76 teams.
Oh, man. Them brackets are going to get busted even sooner.
Good luck for you guys that fill out brackets. This ain't my rodeo. That is not my rodeo. I'm not a part of that. With that being said, let's move into some NBA playoffs because, yeah.
Sam, would you like to open up?
I mean, can we just rewind back to last week when I was happy?
We all saw it coming.
Oh, yeah. Because if you carefully go back to last week when we were on the show, what did I say? We slayed a playoff demon. We didn't slay the playoff demon.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that happens every year happened again. First off, I just want to point out one little thing. The NBA scheduling is a joke. The fact that we had to play a Game 7 in Boston on Saturday, then immediately fly to New York and play Game 1 on Monday was an absolute joke. Then, of course, they get blown out because they're exhausted. They're coming off a 7-game series. Oh, Game 2, Joel can't play. Wouldn't it have been smarter to sit him Game 1?
Probably, yeah.
Look, I don't know what you want me to say, except what is the point of talking about the ex-girlfriend you continue to go back to and the same thing happens over and over? Eventually, your friends are going to say, dude, we've told you 10 times. Why are you still listening? Am I wrong? Like, it's like going back to a toxic relationship over and over and over and over again, except this time you got embarrassed even worse. Not only did you get blown out on your own court, you were dog walked on your own court. You had your own building taken over. It was Did you watch games 3 and 4? That was louder than the Garden.
I did.
That was louder than when they were at the Garden.
The Knicks played 4 home games. And a lot of that has to do with Philadelphia fans selling their tickets.
Hold on. By the way, no. Josh Hart, coming out and saying that you thought this was a sports town, bud, would Eagle fans ever let that happen?
Never.
What happened? Would Phillies fans ever let that? I know you're not a baseball guy. You had to have saw the crowds during Red October.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Flyers are going, that's not happening. This is not about a sports town and 4 other teams having this problem. This is an organization that this fan base is fed up with. It is the same crap every single year.
You're right.
What would you like them to do?
And like Saul made a good point, right? If you were Sixers fans, you had tickets to Game 4. You're down 3-0. The writing's on the wall. You know what's going to happen. Do you want to go and just be disappointed watching them lose in Game 4, or do you just want to try to make some money off your tickets?
This is an organization that is so backed up in BS that it's a joke. First off, there's reports coming out today. Daryl Morey's job is almost past being on life support.
Wow.
This team needs a complete. First of all, the team needs to be sold. Let's call it what it is. Joshua Harris does not care about the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. I think
he cares about his Devils being mediocre too. All he cares about is his precious Washington Commanders. That's all he cares about. And his new stadium that he's going to get. He doesn't care about this team. He doesn't care about the city. He is probably the most hated Philadelphia sports figure since Norman Brayman.
Who?
And exactly, we don't need to talk about those days. But this entire thing is an atrocity. It's a joke. And by the way, it's a situation that is not going to get better in the next 2 to 3 years. The point of the process. Let's have a history lesson, because I'm old enough to have gone through the process and the process before the process and the process after the process at this point. The point of the process was supposed to be not being a team that was middle of the pack. They had rosters that were constructed with solid players. Yes, Drew Holiday turned into a great player. Would you say that Drew Holiday is the best player on a championship team? Probably not. Back then, Andre Iguodala was an all-star on the Sixers. Would you say Iguodala is the best player on a championship team?
Not every night. He might have a night.
No.
Which he did when he won Finals MVP once. So
okay, the guy was on Golden State. Come on. But
like I said,
if you look at those teams that were constructed with Drew and Iggy and Thad Young, Lou Williams, Spencer Hawes, Maurice Spate, shout out to him, Evan Turner, who hates the city of Philadelphia, by the way, even though that I actually will die on the Evan Turner bandwagon. I know it's like, oh, we drafted him over DeMarcus Cousins and Paul George. I don't think he was ever coached correctly in Philadelphia. I will die on that ship. That's a whole other story for a whole other day. But so the point of the process after the failure of the Andrew Bynum trade, because Bynum was supposed to be that superstar to put you over the top. We saw how that worked. Yep. The point of the process was supposed to be a team that was an Eastern Conference contender of young, built through the draft players that would make you a contender year in and year out instead of being middle of the pack. Fast forward to 2026, we are coming off a 45-win season and a 7 seed. So congratulations. You wanted to stop being a 40-win fringe playoff team to now you're the 7th seed at 45 wins. Congratulations. The process got you 4 more regular season wins a season. Congratulations. The process was a failure. Do not sit there trying to convince yourselves that it was anything but. It failed. It was a failure. It's going to continue to be a failure. And guess what? The player who we idolize around it is the reason it's a failure. Because you are never going to win a championship with this guy playing 40 games a year. I understand the fan base wanting Nick Nurse fired along with Daryl Morey. I understand the thought process behind it. What is Daryl Morey supposed to do every night? Not Daryl Morey. I see Daryl Morey's got me hot today, and I'm going to be talking about him for the next half hour. What is Nick Nurse supposed to do when he doesn't know who's available for him every night?
I don't know. He's got to wing it. No consistency.
You have two players on max contracts who played a combined 70 games.
Yeah.
You didn't get 40 games from Paul George, who, by the way, can 100%. You know who Paul George is? Matt Bryan, I hope you're not watching because I don't want to pain you. Do you know who Paul George is? He is Chris Webber.
Whoa.
You got him 5 years too late. Paul George remember when the Sixers were building and they had that year with Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris where they should have went to the conference finals, but the ball bounced 45 freaking times? That was the window to go get a Paul George. Trade the assets, go get the star. That's when they should have got Paul George. No, they just waited till he was 35 years old and gave him a max contract, which, by the way...
Weren't the Sixers actually in on trading for him before he ultimately got traded to the Clippers to team up with Kawhi?
Well, yeah, because nobody is going to only a team as dumb as the Clippers would give you 5 unprotected first-round picks for Paul freaking George, Kawhi Leonard told you to.
Exactly.
I am so fed up with this organization that I can't even see straight. You know, it's funny. I'm looking at my dresser over here, and I have a door. I call it the hoodie door. I have all my hoodies hung by the hood on it. So whatever one I want to wear. I own a Flyers one, an Eagles one, and a Phillies one. I'm straight dead looking at them. I don't got a Sixers one. I am so fed up with this organization and the neglect that it's put. And look, I don't want to blame all this on Joel Embiid. It's not all his fault. Half his injuries aren't his fault.
Yeah, I mean...
However, we have come to a crossroad of you are stuck and you are not getting out of this for at least 3 years. Because unfortunately, the 3-year extension where his cap hits are 60, 60, and 50 plus $1 million kicks in next year. Paul George is owed $110 million over the next 2 seasons. You are now stuck with a team with 3 max contract players, 2 of them which are barely available to you on game day. But somehow we got people calling out the 25-year-old point guard saying he didn't do enough.
Who played 70 games?
No. See, I wish I could say that's enough. But you know what? Not only does he, first off, actually, no, he played 70 games. Do you know what he averaged in terms of minutes?
38.
38 minutes. And that is a complete crock. He played close to 45 every night. Oh, he's not shooting well in game 4. He's got no legs left.
Where's his help?
I don't care if Tyrese Maxey's 25 years old. You can't and he missed games because he had that finger ligament issue as well. That's another reason why he missed time. I am so fed up with this organization. Here's where I'm at. And I'll let you go and give your thoughts on this whole thing because I got a lot more I want to talk about with this. Moving forward, unless it is about Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, I want nothing to do with anybody else in this organization. I'm done with Joel Embiid. I'm done with Paul George, who, by the way, Paul, thank you for getting your cardio in yesterday, Mr. 7 Shots.
Oh, my.
Hold on. Game 4, 15 first quarter points, missed every shot the rest of the game in game 3. Game 4, 7 points. Playoff P is the thing, guys. Don't try to fool yourselves. But no, I'm done with Embiid. I'm done with George. I'm done with Nick Nurse, even though I think Nick Nurse is not nearly what is wrong with this team. I've been done with Daryl Morey for years now. I'm done with Kelly Oubre. I'm done with Quentin Grimes. I'm done with Andre Drummond, and I'm done with Kyle freaking Lowry and his 40-year-old contract taking up a roster spot. But if my outsider here would like to give his thoughts, go ahead. I will get back into this in a moment.
I mean, where do I start? I've been saying it forever now. I was the one who told you week in, week out, Paul George was not the answer. They got him way too late. This is not playoff PG. Embiid, with him at this point, it is what it is. You know what you're going to get, and it's not going to be enough. There's no other way to put it. It's just not going to be enough what he's able to put out for you. What I say, he was going to have to play at least 4 games in the series for them to have a shot. Well, he missed 1, and by then it was too late. I mean, there's only one path forward for the Sixers. And it sucks because it's going to waste a lot of Maxi's prime years. I mean, if you're talking about like 3 years to get this right, with Joel being off the team, Paul George being off the team, and Maxi's in his prime right now. I'm not saying his prime's not going to last long. It will, but you're still losing out. Yeah, they'll still win enough games. They'll be a playoff team. They'll find a way. It's the Eastern Conference. We all know the Eastern Conference is weak.
Yeah.
But they're not going to compete further than that until they're finally rid of the errors of the process, which I agree with you 100%. There is no way that anybody can argue that the process worked or was successful or completed at any point, because they never made it to the conference finals. Never.
Please say that again for the nitwits in the back who believe this team.
They
They
have
not just the
never
final.
made it to the conference finals. Not the finals, the conference finals.
This team hasn't made it out of the second round in 25 years.
If this team, during the whole process era, if they could have made a couple of conference finals appearances and, they just get outmatched, maybe get unlucky and lose, kind of like the Kawhi shot, that series, that was pretty unfortunate. But if that happens in the conference finals, I would have sat here and tried to argue maybe it wasn't a complete failure. Maybe there was some success, but they just didn't get ultimately what they wanted in a championship. But they didn't even get close.
The closest this team got was up 3-2 in round 2 and choking game 6 away on their home floor to the Celtics with James Harden, who, again, is another great organizational malpractice by Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey has set this team back probably 5 years, if
James
not more.
Harden has been an organizational malpractice to every team he's been on.
Yeah, but in that situation, Daryl Morey this is more on him. Harden actually was, in my opinion, the best superstar they plugged next to Embiid.
Really? I feel like it was
yes.
Jimmy. I feel like Jimmy rounded out, made the team more complete.
Okay, here's the thing. During the year that Jimmy was here, we had no idea what the heck the deal was with that team. That team had no floor spacing. I can't count it because he only was here for half a season. They chose Ben Simmons and Brett Brown over him. But if you look at how when James Harden came here and he sacrificed his offense to be the main facilitator. He let Embiid do his work. He let Maxey take that role as the second superstar. And then Daryl Morey ultimately drove him out of Philadelphia. Daryl Morey has set, and look, Joshua Harris is never going to sell the team. He loves making money off of them, so he's never going to sell. And I don't care if the wrong people hear that. I really don't care. But the first point of operation. Now, apparently, there was a report that came out that Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse's jobs are going to be heavily evaluated going into the offseason by ownership. What that means, I have no idea. Then, of course, I know Howard Eskin no longer works for WIP. I know he's not really in the building, but his sources indicate that Daryl Morey's job is possibly close to being off life support, meaning he is close to being fired. Daryl Morey, the only reason that Daryl Morey is still an executive in the NBA is because he took advantage of an Oklahoma City Thunder team a decade ago that didn't want to pay 3 superstars and traded for James Harden. That is what he has lived his reputation off of for years. Because outside of James Harden, what did he ever do in Houston? Gave Dwight Howard $90 million? Yeah, that worked out good. And now he comes here. What's he done? If there is a tournament in 2020, Tyrese Maxey is not a Sixer. You had to basically tank last year to get somewhat of a young, talented player in VJ Edgecombe. Yeah. Because outside of that, before VJ Edgecombe, you guys hadn't developed a young talent since Embiid. And even I don't even know how much of that's really on them. Ben Simmons wasted our time here. Markelle Fultz was a bust, unfortunately. He has traded away every type of role player this team could have had in Isaiah Joe. Apparently, the team was highly upset with the Jared McCain situation, which, oh my God, what a joke that is. He's only shooting 62%, by the way, for the Thunder from beyond the arc in the playoffs, by the way. We don't need that here. He was also the only guard that can, give Maxey a breather here and there in the game. We don't need that, though. We can play him 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's only front rimming shots in the fourth quarter. Well, yeah, his knees are shot. That's why. And then there's the albatross of giving Paul George a max contract at 35 years old, and then whatever that 3-year contract extension that you gave Joel Embiid, which now is going to set you back 3 years because you're not. Here's the problem. They're not going to have enough money to sign any type of legit players to fill out this roster. But by the way, this roster constructed currently is a joke.
You know what happened, right? They were afraid of what the team without Joel Embiid would look like. And they were too afraid to go down that path that they decided, you know what? It's a good idea to give him an extension.
What's it doing now?
Nothing.
Listen, and I hate saying this, I'm going to upset a lot of people. You just have to face the facts. Joel Embiid will be the most talented player I've ever seen, never to come close to a championship. It's not all his fault, but... And like he said in his press conference, he felt like this year was a success for him. He said he is getting, he's getting into an off season where he'll be able to work out quicker, where he's not rehabbing. I mean, he said he will have to take a few weeks off to, heal fully from his appendectomy. He came back way too fast from that, which I'm not quite. Look, let me just say this. I'm not questioning that about Joel Embiid. We don't have to question the toughness that he has or how much he loves to be here. We know Joel likes to be here. We know he loves to be here. It's over. Joel Embiid will never, I can comfortably say this, will never play 50 games in a season again. No, he never will. He will never play 50
Fast
games.
Forward 2026, 2027 season. Joel Embiid plays 65 games. Or what's the number of games where you're eligible for MVP?
65.
65, yeah. He plays 65 games and he's, finalist for
I
MVP
would love
award.
that. But then he's going to fall. Then he's going to fall and twist his ankle and he's going to be out for 3 months.
Oh, man.
Your health for someone like that does not get better with age. He is on the wrong side of 30. And but let's go back to this.
Speaking from experience?
What's that?
I said, were you speaking from experience?
No, because I'm healthier than Joel Embiid is right now. he is never going to be able to produce for you in a full season because by the time the playoffs come, he's already battling 2 or 3 more injuries.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he is the definition of the man made of glass. Like it's never going to get better. And now you're a team with 3 max contracts on your books. So you have no money to improve the roster. And the only way you could get rid of guys like Embiid or George is you have to trade your draft picks to attach to the contract to make it worth the team's while. However, the team's not going to give you anything valuable back in return. So the only way you could improve the team is through drafting. And you can't do that because you got to trade the damn picks to get rid of the contract. So you are literally screwed.
Yep.
So here is my only initial thought. Here is how they can somehow fix this. Number one, fire that Nimrod Daryl Morey, if you ever put him back in a basketball front office, I feel bad for that team because he's the worst executive I've ever seen. Now, again, something like the Jarrett McCain thing to get under the tax, that's not him. That's Joshua Harris. But still, Daryl Morey has not been good at his job here in 6 years. Number one is to fire him. The only way, if you want to fire Nick Nurse, that whatever, do what you want with that. I don't think Nick Nurse is even one of the top 3 biggest problems in this organization. He's probably not even top 4. It's probably 5. Ownership, Daryl Morey, 2 max players never available. That's your 4 biggest issues. If you're going to have to waste the next 3 seasons on being a middle of the pack team, that's fine. You're going to have to nail draft picks. Like they picked number 22 overall this year. This is a pretty damn solid draft coming up. You could get a impact player at 22. If I hear them take another freaking guard, I'm going to lose it. You have no wings, and you need to draft a big guy. Not signing Andre Drummond for the taxpayer exception minimum, league minimum, whatever the frick those contracts are called that they get now. You need to get a legitimate big man who you could say, if Joel were to miss the entire year, this guy could start in his place. Or you need to get a wing who is 6'6" or taller, who can defend and shoot enough from 3 that is capable. Because those are the 2 things that this team cannot get. They have no legitimate backup centers because Drummond, God almighty, the fact that Drummond became a better 3-point shooter than Ben Simmons in his time with the Sixers is absolutely hilarious. But you have no wings that can defend and consistently shoot. I love Kelly Oubre. He's played very well for us. He's another guy who misses time. His availability is not always there, number one. Number two, he's a solid defender. He's not elite, and he's not an elite shooter. He's probably barely above the league average. He is a iso ball heavy wing. I like him. Not a good fit for this team. They need to nail their next 3 years worth of draft picks. That's how they're going to fix this. And by the time the Embiid contract is up, let him go. Don't even I'm not even negotiating with him at that point. You're 35. It's done. Paul George is up in 2 years, so money gets off the books a little earlier. However, the next coach you bring in, you got to start phasing these 2 out of the damn offense. Because when your game plan, how is Nick Nurse supposed to have a game plan where, all right, so let's just use an example. The Sixers are traveling from Boston to Chicago, right? All right, Embiid played in the South against Boston. All right, we're flying to Chicago. Here's the game plan. That's what we want to do. Okay. Guys, Joel's ankle is a little sore. He is questionable for tomorrow's game. Okay, let's change the game plan. All right, now we're set. Joel's not going to be a shoot-around today. Okay, we have the game plan in place. We're good to go. Joel Embiid will see how he feels at shoot-around, and it will be made a game time decision. Okay? He's playing. Now what do I do? Nick Nurse fully has to go through games where Joel Embiid may not play, and he may find out 45 minutes before tip-off. Yeah. How are you supposed to coach like this?
Yeah, they changed your whole game plan. Because then you're essentially game planning, expecting him not to be out there, and then right before the game, you got to find a way to work one of your more talented offensive weapons into the game plan.
Oh, you should have every game plan centered around him. You can't. You cannot set. You can no longer center this team around Joel Embiid because you never know when he will play.
Mm-hmm.
And I have loved him since the moment he got drafted here. When there was that divide of, Okafor's better, Noel's better, and I said it don't matter because this guy's better than both of them. It didn't matter. But I do not know where we go from here. I don't. How do we ever? How? How do we go forward thinking Joel Embiid is still the best player on our team? I don't know how we can expect this to continue.
Yeah.
So you need to, like I said, whatever minimal contracts you have, try to find those diamonds in the rough. Kelly Oubre, when he first came here, can you find another one of him? The most Hall of Fame worthy thing Daryl Morey did do is not pay Quentin Grimes $25 million a year because, oh my God, maybe the worst basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Guy literally could have won Sixth Man of the Year, and he wanted $25 million for 25 good games on a bad team last year. Thank the good Lord they didn't give him that contract. I don't want to see him on this team next year. I'm done with him and Oubre. I'm done with Drummond. If Kyle Lowry wants to be a coach, then tell him he has to retire. You got a 40-year-old point guard you're paying an NBA contract to be a coach. Imagine that. But if Nick Nurse is gone, then Lowry won't be back next year anyway. But once again, like you said, you have Maxey at 26 years old in his prime, and I don't really, for the people calling him out, that's real cute. Let's call out the 25-year-old, who, by the way, if he asks for a trade, I don't blame him. But right
Would you be
now,
interested in playing in Miami?
no, because you've got nothing I want.
It's not about what you want.
Well, that conversation start with a man with the name of Bam, and that ain't gonna happen. So guess what? The answer's already no.
Dang.
Because I'm not taking Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero for Tyrese Maxey.
Come on. You want Hero.
No. Oh no, you can take him. You can take Embiid in his max contract, and I'll take Bam, and then we're good. But you need to go into next season looking at that Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe are your two best players. You have to build around those two. They are the future of whenever this nightmare ends. You have got use whatever taxpayer mid-level exception whatever you use to sign players. Try to find somebody who can shoot and defend, and you have got to nail your draft picks. I know picking 22 is hard in the NBA. You have to be elite at evaluating talent for that to work, and I get it. But that draft pick at number 22, it has to be used on either a wing who can be a very valuable defender and shooter, or it has to be a big who can start when Joel can't play. Because I think we are at the point, on average, Joel's going to miss at least 40 games a season. I do not see him playing over 50 to 55 games ever again. And do not tell me, oh, well, that's the plan to get him to the playoffs healthy. It doesn't freaking matter. Because not only that we just talk about it, not only does the way this does hurt the team, Maxey and Edgecombe don't know how to play consistently. Because one night, you see the VJ Edgecombe, the one night where he hits 25 shots a game. Dude, when there was a stretch where Maxey and Embiid were not playing because Embiid was hurt once again and Maxey had the ligament issue with his hand, VJ Edgecombe went on like a 5-game run where he was averaging like 25 a game. VJ Edgecombe is going from having 25 shots a game to, oh, Joel's back. Now he gets what, 9? What is he supposed to do? I'll at least give Paul George some credit. He's at least taken a back seat to some of his shot attempts, and at least he can still be at least a decent option from 3. But that's not worth a max contract.
Yeah, that's not what he's being paid to do.
No. But, no. to end, if you have final words, I'll let you give yours. But mine are: you have to hit on your draft picks, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to start phasing Paul George and Joel Embiid off this team.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm
It's not going to
sorry.
get better until they're gone.
No. So until then, guess what? If you only can play 40 games a year, you are not my number one scoring option, and you're not my number two. You two play the 3 and 4 scoring options. I mean, Joel Embiid can't even jump anymore, dude. He can't even affect the game on the defensive end because if he jumps, he's going to hurt himself. He used to dominate Karl Anthony Towns in their matchups. Cat owned him every single bit in that series. So now I'm going into the offseason with I need a new president of basketball basketball operations. Oh my God. Also, can you please fire the GM who I don't even know what Elton Brand does here. Because you know what the funny thing is? They give Elton Brand the general manager position in 2018. He's had no experience doing it. So his first order of business picks Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler, picks Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler, gives Tobias Harris the worst contract in Sixers history. Yes, Paul George hasn't hit that yet. So they're so unconfident in Elton Brand that they hire Daryl Morey, and basically Elton Brand is basically his puppet. Like, you're the GM,
I was
but
going to say,
president of basketball.
well, what does Daryl Morey do that Elton Brand's the GM?
Brand is the GM. Morey is the president of basketball operations.
Okay, so he basically holds Elton Brand's hand.
They could both go. Because Elton Brand don't do nothing. Like I said, you got to start with a full clean out of the front office. And if that gets you to where you want to be, awesome. If not, then we'll have to evaluate in 3 years when Embiid and George are off the team. But you have to go into the offseason. Because if you're going to fire Daryl Morey, you're going to have to do it soon. You got to do it before the NBA Finals end. You got to start getting a head start on that. However, I think I kind of know where they would head. Bob Myers is affiliated with the ownership group here. So I think, and of course, Bob Myers was an executive with Golden State during some of their best days. I think he would probably be the lead candidate for the president of basketball ops. But that's in my order. Like I said, you are not trading Joel Embiid because no team. If you called a team right now and said, would you trade for Joel Embiid? You would be sent a drug test from the league because nobody is taking that awful contract. It's not happening. You're not going to get rid of Paul George. Paul George, maybe, because he's only got 2 years left on the deal, and the deal's not, the cap hits they're like 50-something million. Joel's are in the 60s. Like, that's a joke. But, and like I said, Paul George this year is hard to evaluate because, again, he did get hurt literally like a week before the season. Like, I felt that was kind of rough.
Yeah. And suspended.
But Paul George, that's his fault. But Paul George at least showed he was willing to take a step back for these guys. Is Joel? Because like I said, if you're going to fire the coach, I get it. Like, you really haven't given your thoughts on that. I don't think Nick Nurse is a top 4 problem on this team.
No, he's not the whole problem, but usually when you see big shakeups like that, you're probably going to have a head coach change, especially in this current NBA landscape.
But now the problem is, who would you hire? The best option would have been Taylor Jenkins, and he got hired by Milwaukee already.
Bring back Doc.
A lot of people, you shut your freaking mouth with that. Someone brought up Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
He was very close with Tyrese. And ironically, he was on Doc's staff.
Oh, brother.
Well, now he's in Boston.
Doc tree?
Well, no, he's in Boston with Joe Mazzulla, a real head coach.
A real organization.
No, Zolt, that extension kicks in this year, so no more.
Is it too late to cut up the contract?
I wish they were. The only way they're going to get out of it earlier is if somehow he decides to retire. Or they can convince him to medically retire because it's never going to get better, man. It's never going to. And like I said, I've been on the wagon forever. I've been there since day one. I sat through the 10-game season. I feel like I saw every home win that season. I sat through the process. I was a season ticket holder. I went to every home game one year. Till, it became unaffordable. But still, I went to those games. I supported this, but it's over. The process failed. It's never going to get better, and it's never going to get any lighter at the end of the tunnel as long as they are here. So, like I said, start at the top, get rid of Daryl Morey, get rid of Elton Brand. If you want to fire Nick Nurse, okay, I get it. I completely understand it. And then from there on out, in terms of roster construction, you're going to have to basically get cheap guys on rookie deals like the Eagles will have to do on offense. You're going to have to find guys in the draft that can contribute to your team.
Yeah.
Because, it's a shame they can never find that wing player. It's only if they had a chance to draft Mikal Bridges. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, yeah, they did, and they traded him.
Yeah, for a guy who had a food allergy and played, 12 career games?
Jeez.
That is probably the worst, because they finally did something right and they still messed it up.
Yep.
So, again, fire Morey, fire Brand, fire Nurse if that's what people want to do. I'm okay with it. I get it. I don't love it, but I get it. Because I was ecstatic when they hired him. I was like, that's a great hire. And I still think he's a good coach. I just think, I think he lived off a lot of his Toronto reputation with this Kawhi thing, and I think that's a big part of it. But we would never know if he was a good coach here. We don't have half our team available every game. And then you have to nail your draft picks. You have to nail them. With pick 22 this year, that has to be a guy who immediately can be in the rotation, whether it's a center who's going to be able to start when Joel doesn't play, or a wing. It has to be a hit. Stop with the overseas guys like, he'll be here in 5 years. No. Find somebody in college basketball who's going to contribute for you day one. I don't need him to be a superstar. I have Maxey. I have Edgecombe. I'm excited for year 2 of Edgecombe. I think he's going to be a freaking stud. He already is.
Yeah.
How hard is to find someone as a rookie that's committed to that both ends of the floor like that? Like, that kid he's going to be a player.
Oh, yeah.
Like, did you hear what he said a few weeks in his one interview? They asked, what did you want to make sure you were really improving on in your rookie year? He's like, well, I don't want people leaving me wide open because they think I can't shoot. Gee. If only there was a guy that we took number 1 overall that had that same mentality.
And his name is Ben Simmons.
I like to give him an attitude adjustment right now. But that's where my first order of business would start. You got to clean out the front office. You got to move on from some of the lower tier players on the roster like Oubre and Grimes and Drummond and Lowry. I don't care that you only have the mid-level exception to offer. Find somebody else. It has to be better. I don't care if you go find 12 Kyle Korvers. Just go find someone who can shoot the basketball for me.
Kyle Korvers is wild.
They have not had a capable, perfect fit shooter since J.J. Redick.
Not even Danny Green?
Okay, as a shooter, I'd rather have J.J. Danny was better on both. Was very good on both ends. I think J.J. was the better shooter. But that's the freaking point I'm trying to make, brother. That was when they were. Notice that's when those teams were at their best. When they were the 1 seed that year because they had Danny Green, Seth Curry. Look at their playoffs there when Ben Simmons was a rookie. Ben was good and Joel played good. Why? J.J. Redick. Robert Covington, who was probably the last two-way wing this team had. Dario Saric, who could stretch the floor and be another playmaker next to Ben. They had the fits. We haven't had a fit on this team in years, dude. We have not had capable knockdown shooters in like 3 years.
Hey man, it's not your fault that PJ Tucker didn't work out.
No, PJ was fine.
He was.
But he's not the shooter that Danny Green and JJ Redick were.
No. Well, if he was in
He
the
brought.
corner, it was
Oh, of course.
100% success.
Oh, cool. If the 3-point contest was just corner threes alone, PJ's win that thing every year. But again, he got him at 35 years old, and he played his behind off for it. He's also a 6'5" wing playing power forward as well. But
Mm-hmm.
he played his behind off. I had no issue with PJ Tucker. I liked him here. I was fine with PJ here. But you need to find those wings that just play good defense. They shoot the ball well from the perimeter, and they don't have that. That's what you either need to go find that this offseason, or you have to draft a big guy at 22. You have to. Those are the two biggest problems that this team has. They never have a legitimate backup center for Joel. Drummond was cool 2-3 years ago. Now he's out of his wits' end. Adem Bona is closer to an overseas player than he is a G League player. One night I'm getting 8 rebounds and 3 blocks. Then I'm watching plays. I'm like, how are you in the league, my guy? Like, how are you in this league? Like, it's just. I think I basically just. They've left me with nothing to say. George, if he can defend and play off the ball, let's do it. Let's do it. Anywho, let's talk about let's talk about the team that the Sixers did lose to. I don't know how the Knicks are not going to the finals with the way they're playing.
Knicks are playing
They're out of their mind.
Basketball. And a quick little foreshadow over to the Western Conference. So are the Thunder. Two series sweeps. Well, not quite yet, but I'm kind of anticipating a sweep on the Lakers.
It's coming.
It's coming. But man, I mean, the Knicks have so many ways to beat you. It's not just Brunson.
Mind you, OG Anunoby has not played the last 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, in case if the Sixers fans were holding out hope that with no Anunoby out there, they'd have a better shot. PSA, they did not.
I mean, dude, they put up 144 points. They shot 25 of 44 from 3. That is historic shooting. What they did in this series is like ridiculous. Are they the favorite in the East? Like, can either of those other two, can Detroit or Cleveland beat them?
Favorite in the East? I'd say yes. The only team that I could see giving them some problems in a 7-game series is Detroit. Because Detroit this year against them in the regular season, I got to try and find the exact number, but they traded the games.
You're going to need Cade to go ballistic.
Yeah, he needs to have a great series.
But you're going to need Cade Cunningham to go ballistic in that series. If that's where we're at, because Tobias Harris, I know he's had a better playoff run this year. It ain't always.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Lost to Detroit. Lost to Detroit. Lost to Detroit. Are they only playing 3 times this year? Maybe.
Yeah, because they're not in the same.
They have played and lost all 3 games so far against Detroit. So if there is a team that could take them in a 7-game series, I'd give Detroit that chance. But I still don't see how the Knicks don't make it to the finals.
I think the only thing that gets me with the Knicks, not with the Pistons, is if Cade has an off game, who is giving you that production outside of him? I mean, Tobias Harris should, but again, we have seen plenty of Tobias Harris in the playoffs to know sometimes that's not always the best idea to bank on.
Yeah.
Durant he's been very much improved this year, but a lot of his success does hinder on Cade being with that pick and roll type style they run. And the rest of the guys, they're just really solid role players. I mean, Duncan Robinson may have a game where he goes absolutely insane from 3, but Now, Zolt, I will agree with that because the only thing they've been doing so far has been punching teams in the mouth.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they didn't punch us in the mouth. They punched us in the mouth, kicked us in the head, freaking hit us with the people's elbow, and then freaking drop kicked us off a pier. That's what they did to us. Is that enough? Because I will say Detroit is one of the best teams. They're probably the best team left in the postseason defensively, in the East at least, that is. The way they could swarm to you on the defensive end of the floor with Harris and with Thompson and Cade, and even Duncan Robinson has improved a lot defensively since going to Detroit. And then, of course, you have Durant in the middle. I'm sure that you love hearing this, by the way. And they have Durant in the middle. Like, they can swarm you defensively, especially from the perimeter. That's probably the other thing. They do have the way they're constructed in their starting five. They can match the Knicks in there with Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges. You can put a body on all these guys. The Sixers didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
That's why I honestly thought Atlanta in the first round would have provided them with a bit of a contest because I thought they had the wings to match them wing for wing. Then the Knicks just, since that game 6, have shot historically from 3. Like, I don't think they've missed a shot in the past 4 games. And it's not, I mean, dude, it's Brunson, it's Hart, it's Anunoby, it's Bridges, it's Alvarado, it's Shamet, Landry freaking Shamet of all people. It's Cat. These dudes just don't miss. You could put Patrick Ewing out there for 3 shots, he'd probably sink them all right now. Like, these dudes just aren't missing. But I do agree with Zolt there. If you do punch them in the mouth, do they respond? Because they haven't really had to deal with that adversity right now.
No, I mean, the most they dealt with it was a little bit with the Hawks, but even them still made quick work.
Atlanta is not the team Detroit is. I think Detroit's... They would provide them with a big punch. And again, I think Detroit can match them defensively, unlike other teams.
Oh, yeah.
And also, another thing, I'm not saying he's not great at it. Cat, to me, I wouldn't label Cat as an elite defender of the paint. And Durant does a lot of his work in the paint. So I would be very interested to see how that matchup would work. Also, though, what Cat would provide with Detroit, if Detroit were to get that far, he can take Durant out of the paint and stretch him out to the 3-point line, and that gives Brunson and Bridges and those guys a room to operate. So that's a mismatch as well. Now, ultimately, this is all if Detroit gets past Cleveland, because Cleveland did make it a 2-1 series. We're still got to see how that series ends. Mm-hmm. Currently, Detroit is up 24-21 at the end of the first quarter in that game. Tobias Harris is leading Detroit with 7 on 3 of 4 shooting. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Caris LeVert leads the team in scoring with 8 points off the bench.
Caris LeVert.
James Harden has 11 points and 2 assists and 2 steals in the first quarter. Donovan Mitchell, a big old goose egg, 0 for 5 shooting.
So Detroit's winning this game. Because James Harden, he's still due for his 5 turnovers.
Well, he's 3 for 7. It's not like he's shooting the lights out. He's 3 for 7.
Yeah.
But we said that going into the second round, the only way the Cavs are going to win that series is one of 2 ways. That backcourt's going to have to go absolutely nuts every night, or they're going to have to try to get Evan Mobley more involved. And I have no idea what their game plan is with Evan Mobley every night. Mobley tonight Mobley's taken 3 shots in the first quarter tonight. The previous 3 games, he has not yet taken over 12 shots in a game. Evan Mobley could be the best player on a team, and they're literally making him a third option. And I understand that, Harden's the veteran, the former multiple-time All-Star, probably a future Hall of Famer, given his track record. I know Donovan Mitchell is supposed to be the best player on the team. Evan Mobley is going up against the front court, which by standards is a little undersized with Tobias Harris and power forward. That's an undersized lineup. Durant's got to deal with Jared Allen all night. Evan Mobley should be getting it down in the paint, in the post, into that mid-range area and operating. And it's like they're limiting him. Like, and don't get me wrong, I know Detroit's really good defensively, but come on, man. Evan Mobley should be having at least the second most shots on a team.
Yeah.
And Detroit's doing a good job of taking him out of it because we've seen it. When that backcourt's not doing its job in Cleveland, and they're not doing much. Now, that's why they won Game 3, but you still have, I think I still have Detroit winning that series.
I think Detroit wins the series. I think Detroit wins tonight. I feel like Cleveland will take the next game, maybe. But I think that's where it ends.
So you have Cleveland going into Detroit and winning Game 5?
Yeah, just to kind of little bring the hope back. And then lose on their own court to get knocked out.
Does Harden and Mitchell just have one of those nights where it's like, oh, we're both like 5, well, we're both dropping like 40?
Yep.
I can see it.
Yeah, Harden will only have 2 turnovers the whole game. It'll be a miracle.
2 turnovers the whole game. Let's go over to the West.
OKC, see you in the see you in the championship, and we'll see you next year after you hoist the trophy again.
Pretty much.
That the interesting series going on right now is between the Spurs and the T-Wolves. I don't think either of them beat OKC. So it's like, what are we even talking about right now at this point?
I think if San Antonio gets to the conference finals, they have a chance.
Think they give them a run for their money at least?
I don't even think OKC has a answer for the freak of nature that is Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah. Well, unless if he takes himself out of more games.
That elbow was so stupid. I don't know what he was showing. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can cover up some things. That was blatant.
Yeah. Like, come on. What are you doing? Hey, with how massive you are, too, you're not hiding anything. Everyone can see everything that you do.
And like, I could somehow have a little more respect to it if it was Rudy Gobert. It was Naz Reid. It wasn't even the better center on Minnesota's team.
Man.
And that's the thing. Like, we make our jokes about Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert still is one of the best defensive big men in the league. He doesn't even have any. Wembanyama literally caught a lob in that game last night that should be an over-the-back foul, but it's not because he's just so freaking tall.
He's just so tall. And when his arms go up, he's just even taller.
So if a multiple-time defensive player of the year doesn't have an answer for Victor Wembanyama, what do you think the Thunder can do? Because they took the Thunder toe-to-toe this year in each game, and they didn't back down. And I think they have the bodies to throw at them, with Champagning and Barnes and Harper and Castle and Keldon Johnson with Wemby. I think they have the bodies that they can do it. It's just, I think the experience factor would come into it.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota would easily make it interesting because, dude, I got to give something. They do not go away. They are annoying to play.
They are. I watched a little bit of that game last night. I mean, San Antonio stayed in the game for the most part up until the end, but T-Wolves, they just didn't let up.
Well, unlike them, Minnesota had their closer in the game.
Exactly. And they were trying to throw everything at them. They were throwing doubles, triple teams, you name it.
Guy just hyperextended his knee less than 2 weeks ago, and he's dropping 36 in a conference semifinals.
Yeah.
If Wemby is the best player in the league and people want to say Shea is number 2, I may have to put Anthony Edwards at number 3.
He's right up there.
Like, he's playing like I feel like I'm watching my version of Kevin Garnett. Can we get this man some help, please? Can we get
get some help when he gets traded out of Minnesota.
I mean, Minnesota. They have a decent squad. I mean, Randall's playing okay. They have Gobert. They still have McDaniels. DiVincenzo, when healthy, can get buckets. Like, can they find that true number 2 option next to Ant? Would somebody want to come there and play with him is the question.
I'm worried that, I think you said this before in the past, the NBA is not going to want to keep Ant Edwards in the smaller market that is Minnesota. They will find a way to force him to a bigger market team. You know what? It'll probably be the Lakers.
Nah,
Give
they
it
already
like
did that
another
with Luka.
4 years. I mean, hey, in another 4 years, anything could happen. Luka might be off the team.
George says the hell with your prediction, Tyler. He's going Pistons in 5.
Pistons in 5 for this current series, or if they play.
I think Detroit, New. I think he means this series. I think Detroit, New York. I think that's going 7. I really do.
Yeah.
No, Anthony. You know what Anthony Edwards will be? He'll probably go to a team like they would try to get him on. Like, that's a good question. I would have said New York, but they already forced like half the league in there. Lakers, nah. Celtics already have their 2 guys. I don't think he ain't fitting. There ain't enough basketballs to go around that with that group.
Not at all.
Screw it, send the Philly.
Okay, bud.
That'd be something. Ham, Maxey, Edgecombe. I would trade my next 8 first-round picks to get George and Embiid off my team.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even care. But going over to that Thunder and Lakers series, I kind of think we knew, even if Luka was playing, that series was probably going to be a stretch for the Lakers. But without Luka, like, how do you generate your offense?
You know what? I think I said in our preview, there's going to be one game when the Lakers look down and out, and LeBron will his way somehow to get them a win. I'm going to say they're not going to get swept tonight. I'm going to say LeBron puts on a masterclass. The last of the season, they get the win by a narrow margin, and then they just extend the loss into Game 5.
Okay. Now let me ask you this question.
Maybe Marcus Smart drops 30.
Oh, would you stop?
He shoots 10 for 20 from 3.
Is this the last moments of LeBron James in LA?
Kind of seems like it from how he's talked about the team over the past year, how they've kind of seemed to pivot over the last year. I think it might be the end of the LeBron James era in Los Angeles.
I think the Lakers organization in a whole is getting tired of it.
Oh, they're definitely tired of his son being there.
Yeah, and like if there are organizations that are going to let you force your will upon them, the LA Lakers are not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's how I look at it. No disrespect. When you think of the Cavs, they're nothing without LeBron James. I don't. All right. Look, shout out Mark Price. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell in this regime now. There's only one guy that's delivered them a championship, and that was LeBron James. He is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Miami
lightly
was the first. No. Miami, unfortunately, did the right thing because they were not going to let him impose his will on that franchise. Pat Riley was not going to have it. Unfortunately, Miami has never been the same team since he left. Miami, honestly.
But you also got to think, how bad could it have gotten if they did start to let him get his way?
That could be depending on factors, but I agree.
We could have possibly even seen him somehow how get Spoelstra pushed out the building if he
I
really
would.
imposed his will on that team. Because think about it, who's the last coach that actually probably really coached LeBron? Spoelstra.
Yeah.
I feel like
One
every other
dated.
coach has been almost like a shadow of LeBron James.
He got David Blatt fired a year into his tenure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd say that was probably the last head coach that actually coached LeBron was probably Eric Spoelstra. But yeah, I wasn't gonna. He's not? First of all, that's the other. He's not the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade is the Miami Heat. We know that. That doesn't need to be documented at all. We know who the face of the Miami Heat will always be. That's D Wade. But the Lakers, on the other hand, could say, buddy, you see all the star players that we've had before? You're not even probably, no offense, you're probably not even one of the 5 greatest Lakers of all time. Player-wise, yes. But Laker tenure? Let
Yeah.
me ask you this. Let's go through it. Are you taking, as a Laker, not
As a
talking about,
Laker, yes.
just as a Laker, are you taking him over Kobe Bryant?
Nope.
Are you taking him over Shaq?
Nope.
Are you taking him over Magic?
Nope.
Are you taking him over Kareem?
Nope. And let's
Are you taking him
reiterate,
over?
this is the Laker legacy that we are ranking here.
Yes.
Just in case if anyone isn't aware.
Yes, we are not comparing them as players. All-time players, LeBron is one of the top 3 greatest players I've ever seen play the sport. I'm talking about Laker legacy. Let's go back. Are you taking him over the logo?
Now?
Are you taking him over Wilt? They
Still no.
basically they probably each won the same amount of championships as a Laker, but Wilt probably played all 82 games.
Yeah.
And then you could take. Now we're down to the James Worthies of the, which I think James Worthy was a better Laker too.
I mean,
Elgin Baylor never won a title in LA, so that's kind of hard to. But still, that's the point. You're barely a top 10 greatest Laker of all time. We were successful before you, during it with you, and we'll probably be successful after you. Like I said, the Luka Doncic trade was never to continue the longevity of success with LeBron James. It was to prepare for them for life after LeBron James. Because Luka and LeBron, we sat there like, that fit's not that. Luka's not playing off ball.
Yeah.
And you damn well know LeBron ain't playing off ball.
And now that's why you also started to see, they made other moves. Like they brought in Ayton.
Which was an awkward fit to begin with.
Yeah, I feel like the fit could be better.
Somebody wasn't there.
Without LeBron. But they have the pieces in place to succeed without LeBron James. Austin Reeves, he's a great guard. Hachimura, I think he's one of the more underrated forwards in the league. And again, another guy who's kind of overshadowed by LeBron. He could probably maybe average 20 points a game without LeBron.
I think if you go into next season with your top 2 scorers being Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, I think they would be okay. I'm not sure how great of a team that is, but I would try to get myself away from the LeBron James era. Bring Ayton back. I think Ayton is still an easy 12 and 10 a night guy. Not a great defender, but... And Hachimura, I think, is a solid 2-way player. Just build off of that. And I know we were talking about Spoelstra. I think J.J. Redick's not a bad coach.
Oh, I don't know either. I think he's pretty good.
He's a very smart... If you ever listen to him talk, he's a very smart basketball mind.
He's smart enough to know that Bronny James stinks.
Yeah, which... I don't... Well, we don't even need to be told that. We know this. George said, yes, Bron is done in L.A. He's ready to come home and chill. Then he will be on TV. Yeah, most likely. If he is going to retire, I think one last run with the Cavs wouldn't hurt anybody.
You know what's going to have to happen?
What?
His stipulation, his contract's going to be you have to trade James Harden for my son.
No, he likes older players. He'll have him trade Evan Mobley for his son.
Oh my!
That would
Don't
be
say
no.
that. Now they'll trade D Wade for his son.
Hey, Dean Wade would actually be a good fit next to Luka. He's a shooter. But no, I think the Lakers could set themselves up for decently for life after LeBron. And that's what the whole Luka trade was about. It was never about maximizing. Look, let's be real. Lakers haven't really been. I mean, they've had a good year this year because they had Luka,
Yeah.
but let's not act like with that before Luka, they weren't bottom feeding for the ace seed every year with LeBron. They haven't been a good team.
No, they haven't.
They won the bubble title. Good for them. And Anthony Davis has barely played a game with the Lakers after that because he can never stay healthy.
Yep.
Anthony Davis has been in the more NBA finals than Joel Embiid. What in the world?
Crazy.
All right, Tyler. So we already have the Knicks advancing to the conference finals. I'm sure we'll get into more of this talk next week as well. Cavs, Pistons, you have Detroit advancing throughout the rest of that series.
Yeah.
I have Detroit as well. I think that's going to be a great series. We'll give our picks for that next week. I just almost ripped my headset off my head. So, yes, you did see that right.
Good job.
Western Conference, Thunder over Lakers, I'm assuming.
Yep. In 5.
I'm saying it's over tonight. So now, what do you have for T-Wolves and Spurs? That series is tied at 2.
Series is tied. I'll be honest, if Wemby plays the whole game last night, they probably win. So we could have been looking at a 3-1 series already. Long as Wemby doesn't do anything along those lines again, the Spurs just outmatch that team. And there's no answer for Wemby's size.
There is. All you have to do is stand Naz Reid on Rudy Gobert's shoulders, and I think you somewhat come close. You somewhat come close.
And then you're down a player. Wemby is literally just two players in one.
He's your creative player on 2K that you just want to dominate everybody.
Max out the sliders.
All right, so I will take the Spurs. I think it's going to go 7.
I'm going Spurs in 6.
I think it's going to go 7. Minnesota's weird, man. They just will their way to some games. Like, they already won a game in this series when Wemby played the full game. I think they could do it again.
They did, but definitely, I think last night they'd lose for sure if Wemby played the whole game.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I think Anthony Edwards has still got some of those games left in him to where he will just will that team on his shoulders to win. So I'm going to go Spurs, but I am going to take them in 7. Because I think Minnesota... That's fine. Because I really want to see Spurs and OKC in the Western Conference Finals, and I want to see Pistons and Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Those are the two.
You know what I'm just worried about, though? That 7-game series, if it does go to 7, the Thunder might just sweep the Lakers. They're going to have so much rest. And I'm not worried about the Thunder having rest affecting them negatively.
No.
There you go, George.
Wemby gonna.
I think Wemby needs to work with Draymond this offseason to learn how to hide some of the hard fouls.
Did you hear the disrespect that he gave to Charles Barkley live on TV?
I did not.
Saying that, they were asking him about his age and when he thinks it'll be time. He's like, as long as I don't look like you in Houston.
Oh, my. Wow.
Do we not remember how good Charles Barkley was in Houston?
Yeah. And do we not remember how average Draymond Green has been the past couple of years?
Past couple of years. Draymond has been an average offensive player his entire career.
Right.
don't get me wrong, he's been the glue to that entire organization's title runs. But I mean, dude, dog, Draymond hasn't averaged double digit in points since 2018.
Oh my, it's been that long?
He averaged 11. He's averaged 7. The highest he's averaged since is 9 last year. Like,
Man, he's really living off of them NBA championships, isn't he?
that whole team. Well, Steve Kerr just got a 2-year extension. I swore this was it for him.
Nah, I think Steve Curry's got some more to give.
I think they all go out together.
Yeah, that was one of the major reasons he did stay, because he didn't want to leave Steph. That's what they built together. Hopefully, he'll position the team well for when he does depart, and when Curry ultimately departs.
Whoa. Chill with the disrespect over there, okay, old timer? I may be 30, but I'm not that old. Hold on. It's not his fault that he played in an era with the greatest freaking basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect Sir Charles like that.
Sir Charles.
Don't you disrespect Sir Charles. Anywho, there ain't going to be none of that here. Love me some Charles. There were a lot of guys in those days, George, that didn't win crap. It's because they ran the 3 guys: Magic, Michael, Larry. That's what the problem was. We ran in one of those 3 guys, or Isaiah. In a world of the Jordans, Magics, and Larrys, be a Detroit Piston and knock them all out.
Yeah, right.
And also, wait, George, did you also say that he's going to learn from Rodman? So he's going to go to Vegas every other day?
Oh, jeez.
I'll tell you, COVID during sports was one of the wildest times, especially for us, since that's when we started 609. That documentary was wild with some of the stuff that you heard.
Oh, yeah.
That was our second episode. We gave our thoughts on the documentary because it was just ending. That was wild.
George. If you're basing it off of never winning anything, there are a lot of players that you would have to say were trash.
Oh my God.
We're going to sit here and say Patrick Ewing was bad?
Because like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp were bad? I guess oh my God, Karl Malone must be the most overrated player of all time.
Poor Karl, man.
Oh man, Karl's no, we're not doing that here. Hey, Tyler, want to jump into some NFL news before we get out of here?
Oh, we have football. Wow.
We do have some NFL stuff to talk about real quickly. Breece Hall finally got paid. After months of speculation of would he be a Jet, would he not? Of course, there was rumors of him being available at the trade deadline. They ultimately kept him. Then they were going to tag him, and now he gets paid. 3 years, $45.75 million, making him the 3rd highest paid running back in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. He had a very quiet year. I never knew he ran for 1,000 yards last year. Did you? And it was the first time in his career that he did that. Like, I mean, that's what happens when you're stuck on the New York Jets. Hopefully their fortune turns with, moves that they're making, strengthen their team. I believe they had a really good draft. And I like that they went and they doubled down on Breece Hall as our RB1. And he is going to be a key part of that offense.
I'm just happy that we're sitting here and people are realizing that paying running backs is okay again. I understand the fear factor for a while there because of the fact that, running back shelf life, all that stuff, yada, yada. But running backs are just too important as a team as they ever have been, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are.
So for them to go out, give Brees Hall his money. Now, is he on paper the third best running back in football? Probably not. But again, welcome to the world where paying running backs is cool because they are a very big part of your team. George, I'm done with you in this Charles Barkley thing, so I'm done. This is a law. This is a we're just gonna stick this like the 49ers injury report on the back burner.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, last year was his first year career-wise going over 1,000. And
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's hard to sometimes when you're on the Jets, you do get kind of overlooked because of what that team has been in recent years. However, I feel like this is the Jets setting themselves up to being a quarterback away, possibly from being a competent team. I think the defense is
Mhm.
taking major strides. I think that getting Sweat from the Titans is going to help. They got Minka from Miami. They took Bailey at number 2. Why people continue to say it wasn't a good pick, I will never understand. I think getting D'Angelo Pons in round 2 is going to help. They added
Oh yeah.
Nashawn Wright. I think that's really going to help. They're going in the right direction. And now, if you look at the offensive side of the football, they are loaded up with
They
talent now.
have tons of weapons. Like honestly, if Geno Smith could just make good decisions, not turn the ball over, all he has to do is be a game manager. He does not need to be an elite quarterback or a playmaker. Manage the game. Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper, Adonai Mitchell, Kenyon Sadiq, Brees Hall, Braylon Allen backing him up in that backfield. They're good.
Mason Taylor playing opposite of Kenyon Sadiq as their tight
Yeah,
end, too.
yeah. Like, oh my gosh.
And even after losing John Simpson in free agency, they still have a very solid O line. They have
Dude,
Membu
they
and
do.
Fasano taking up the tackle
Yeah.
spots. You got Myers at center, Tittman at right guard. Just got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out that left guard spot because they did lose Simpson. They did lose Elijah Vera Tucker. Just get that position down. And yeah, dude, if Geno can just remember not to throw the ball to the other team, they actually may have something going here. By the way,
Yeah.
Zolt, that comment is perfect.
Covers the
Covers
burgers, the oven, the
the
fridge.
burners, the oven, the fridge, the floor. The whole house is covered in it. But no, I'm happy Brees Hall got paid. I was very scared he was going to end up a Chief, which, I mean, I'm already upset they already got Kenneth Walker. I think, who would you take as a running back, Kenneth Walker or Brees Hall?
Oh man.
I may lean toward Brees Hall.
Yeah, that's tough because like I'm just imagining what would Brees Hall have done behind a O line like the Eagles, aside from last year.
I still think even last year it would have been okay. I think, exactly.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
even
he
last year
is,
probably would have been an upgrade.
yeah, I think he still is a top 10-ish running back. Now, like again, is he top 3? Probably not, like his contract is saying. But again, that's the market. Teams reset markets with positions all the time.
Because I mean,
He
you
deserved to
can't
get paid.
lose them. Because if you lose them, then you have a major weakness on your offense.
Again, like you said, Allen behind him is a solid option. I don't know if he's an RB1 in this league.
It's a stretch.
Exactly. By the way, where'd Brees Hall go to school?
I forget where to go to school.
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
I think I know the. I think I know the guy who coached him. Oh, I can't wait for Matt Campbell and that era of Penn State football to get started late summer. I am so excited. Most excited I've been for a Penn State football season in a while. But no, I'm happy that Brees Hall did get his money. And I think, again, I think the Jets are just setting themselves up to being, because again, if you're a quarterback, remember, there was speculation why Dante Moore went back to school. And to be a quarterback coming into the NFL, you need to have some type of confidence in the organization that drafts you. And honestly, before this draft, if I would have said to you, do you want to go to the Jets? No, because what am I going to do there?
Yeah. But honestly, previewing to next year's draft, if I'm a college quarterback, I kind of want to go to the Jets. I get the history behind them. I do. That's always going to play a part of it. But if you're looking at, I'm getting to play with Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper, Adonai Mitchell, Keon Sadiq, Mason Taylor. I mean, that's a loaded receiving room full of weapons. It's not like you're just coming in. Oh, you got Garrett Wilson. I'm trying to think with some of those bad tight ends they had just like a couple of years ago.
Let's not say we did.
Yeah, you get my point. It's
I
not
get
one
your
of
point
those
fully.
situations where, you're coming into nothing, expected to change everything. They kind of have all the pieces together now.
I don't disagree, George. I think the Giants are also setting themselves up really nicely. I'm kind of annoyed by it, actually. See, I like giving the Jets credit. They're not my division. Giants, on the other hand, did you see that game got their opener got leaked?
Yep.
Sunday Night Football against Dallas Cowboys.
Them boys.
Can,
Who's
can we
home?
just admit that
You know
the
who's home?
Giants and Cowboys are like the Miami Heat Orlando Magic. It's just every year, week one, they're playing each other. Every year they're playing each other. It don't matter.
It's the easy scheduling choice.
It really is. Well, hey, we got Dallas on Thanksgiving. I'm prepared for that. I'm ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Other news: Jawan Jennings, probably the best free agent wide receiver left in terms of
When's it
drama
come?
wise. I mean, I know Tyreek Hill's out there. Again, we don't know what he's going to be at that age coming off that injury. Diggs, I think we kind of already felt was starting to hit that wall a little bit. 1-year deal to Minnesota. Definitely not the team I expected, but lost Jalen Naylor to free agency to the Raiders. And now you add Jennings to a wide receiver room of Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson.
I mean, it's going to be a great wide receiver 3. I mean, there's literally zero pressure for him. We all know Jefferson and Addison, they're the main guys. They're going to be cranking out the yards. Jawan Jennings is kind of that more physical, bigger body receiver, which is a nice contrast to Jefferson and Addison. So I feel like they were kind of lacking in that part. I honestly think Jawan Jennings might be a better fit in that receiving room than Jalen Naylor was.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson definitely. I know people love to make that.
Hey, George. Kyler Murray will be able to throw it up and someone will come down with it. And guess what? If that doesn't work, Carson Wentz is still on the roster.
Oh, dear God. Let's go back to find that 609 clip when I did the lights, please, and the whole promo cut. I think WWE should hire me on the spot. That was beautiful. But no, yeah, you get a guy in Jennings. Like, clearly they weren't comfortable with what they had at wide receiver outside of Addison and Jefferson. Jefferson, I know a lot of people love to say, oh, he's just a slot wide receiver still. No, he's not. He operates well out of both. But now it kind of gives you room with Jennings. You can kind of mix match things. Jefferson can operate out of the slot. Jennings can move to the outside. You can also switch that up. Addison is your deep threat, gets you the ball down the field. I feel bad for TJ Hawkinson. He's probably going to have like even more diminished targets. But they got to get that run game going early in games next year, especially with an aging Aaron Jones. They have Mason, but I'm not in love with the running back situation in Minnesota.
No. And it makes it tough because it kind of almost forces them to be a pass first team.
Yeah.
And you don't want to necessarily do that with Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't want to get like that's the thing. I don't want teams to be getting into shootouts, and you're just like, I don't need Jacoby Brissett passing numbers last year from Kyler. I don't think that's good for anybody. I think that's also, I personally think that's another reason that hurt JJ McCarthy last year was their lack of a consistent run game. Because
Yep.
that's how you take pressure off a young quarterback. You got to be able to run the football. And I think personally, that really didn't help him last year. So I'll save it at that. But I think this is a good move for Minnesota. Gives them another valuable weapon in the passing game. And now, honestly, you have 4 really good targets with him, Hawkinson, Jefferson, and Addison.
Yeah, you do.
Kyler, because look, I'm going into the summer fully expecting Kyler to be the quarterback. I'm not even. They signed him for a reason, guys. Like, I'm not even trying to do this. Like, they even re-signed Carson Wentz. They only want JJ to be the backup.
Yeah, basically.
So, if Kyler's healthy, they can run the ball a little more efficiently than they have in the past. That NFC North's going to be a bloodbath again.
Man. It makes it more interesting, so I hope so.
Our last little bit of NFL stuff I want to talk about. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'm getting so annoyed by this. So this was a tweet from Ian Rappaport last week. Free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who is expected to visit the Steelers on Friday, never got word if this ever happened, and this weekend, also never got word if this happened, will likely play for them in 2026, sources say. A deal is not done, and there is always caution until things are signed. But Rodgers' plan is to play for Pittsburgh, and these are the steps towards that end. Give me one. Let me just make sure that did I just hear Aaron Rodgers took a free agent visit to a team that he just played for last season?
Yes, you heard that right.
What the hell are we doing?
Hey, man, he's just maximizing off all the perks.
If I was Pittsburgh, I'd tell him to kick rocks at this point. I'll say either sign before June or don't come back. Then retire, because he ain't going to go nowhere else. He's not signing anywhere else. Basically. He can't. They put that weird tender on him, that weird unrestricted free agency tender. But still, why are we doing this? And that's the thing. That's how desperate the Steelers have been since the Ben Roethlisberger era ended. They've been so desperate for quarterbacks that they will let this happen.
And I mean, I will say, not for a lack of trying. I mean, they've tried to get quarterbacks in there through the draft. Didn't make good decisions, clearly.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, everybody. Even though I will say the jury is still out on the guy they just drafted this year. I still think Drew Allen could be a good quarterback.
I think he could be an even better quarterback if Aaron Rodgers would stop being a Nimrod and just sign for a year.
No. Yeah, I was going to say no. If something were to fall apart and Aaron Rodgers does not end up back in Pittsburgh, if I was Pittsburgh, I would start Will Howard. Drew Aller has a lot to work on, especially with his footwork. That is something that they never worked on with him at Penn State. He just, for some reason,
first team. You didn't need footwork.
Well, no, you don't need a footwork to have an RPO style offense that only throws 8-yard passes for a quarterback that can get it 40 yards down the field in a blink of an eye, or a snap of a finger for that matter. But this Aaron Rodgers stuff is so. You think the AJ Brown stuff is exhausting? Oh my God. And George, that's where I'm at. If I was the Steelers, I'd say, all right, you know what? Screw this, dude. We got the weapons. We have the run game. We have the receivers. We're starting the kid. I'm done with this. And even if Will Howard isn't the guy, I think Drew Aller could be the guy. I think Drew Aller has the talent to be at least a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. I'm not saying superstar, starting caliber. I saw the talent. I saw it at Penn State. I know it doesn't seem like you saw it, but I'm going to say it for the last time. James Franklin screwed that kid up. Screwed him up and screwed him over. Never gave a valuable wide receiver. He had one legit passing weapon at Penn State his entire career, and it was Tyler Warren. Terry Smith, the only coach really left from that regime, even told you they didn't coach him right. And I will trust Terry Smith after what he did for our program last year. But yeah, this whole Aaron Rodgers thing is exhausting.
Well, good thing I'm not a Steelers fan. Good luck.
No, we're just dealing with the A.J. Brown stuff. Which comes first, Aaron Rodgers signs or A.J. Brown gets traded?
What's the deadline on the Rodgers thing?
Tyler, he could sign the day before the season starts and they let him. That's how desperate they are in
A.J.
Pittsburgh.
Brown gets traded before Aaron Rodgers makes a decision.
Yeah, George, and I said that about Will Howard when he got drafted. I seen the guy make every throw you want a quarterback to make. It's not like he hasn't played with top-tier NFL talent. He's been throwing to those wide receivers in Ohio State for his whole life.
True.
I think Drew Aller has more talent than Will Howard, but I thought Will Howard should have went. And again, what have I always said? I will take a flyer on guys who have done what? Won at the collegiate level. I will take guys that win. Will Howard won a national title.
Well, we said that about J.J. McCarthy, too, so,
I've seen Will Howard make way more impressive throws than J.J. McCarthy. Come on.
That's fair, but still, watch what you say about taking the guys who have won, because J.J. McCarthy isn't a good look in that regard.
I still take my bets with guys that win.
I
don't care what happens.
It's not always a quarterback.
I'll do it in any position. You win, I'll take you. I like adding winners to my locker room. I like adding losers. Why do you think the Eagles are going through one of the best runs of football? They literally took a boatload of players from a program that's done nothing but win for over a decade in college football.
Yes, Sam, we know. The Philadelphia Bull Eagles.
Exactly. You draft winners, they stay winners. Like, you draft them, and that's what happens. Don't get me wrong. There's still plenty of guys that unfortunately don't win, but that are still successful in college and all that stuff. George, I don't doubt this one bit. I don't doubt that one bit. And that was the other thing, though, Tyler. The problem with J.J. McCarthy was he didn't throw a lot at Michigan because they had such a great defense with him there. They had such a great run game. Will Howard threw the football a lot at Ohio State.
He did.
Now, granted, he was throwing it to Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate, and Emeka Ibuka, but he was still making those throws. And when it came to the playoff against some of the better defenses in the country, he can make the throws. He's just not the most athletic guy in the world, but who is? Ben wasn't athletic either. He still had a great career in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was Pittsburgh, I'd put a deadline. Say, yeah, you got till May 20th. If you don't sign, then we're out of here. Because that stuff's exhausting.
It is.
Like I said, wait, what did you say first? Rodgers got traded or Brown? Or no, Rodgers signed or Brown got traded? You go AJ gets traded first?
Yeah.
June 2nd, AJ Brown is traded. June 3rd, Aaron Rodgers is signed with the Steelers. And a shocking move that some people will try to say for their content. Clickbait of the week. We don't do clickbait over here. We just talk the real stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like AJ Brown's already gone.
The draft confirmed that, even though we knew it months beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, Tyler, anything else we want to talk about tonight?
That's about all I got, except go Birds. I know you're in the same boat. Your other sports will let you down.
That's okay. Look, here's where I'll end my week of Philly sports for now. Phillies are playing a lot better baseball. They've won 4 straight series. They're closing back in on the 500 mark, playing good baseball under Don Mattingly. The Flyers ran into the best team in the Eastern Conference in the Carolina Hurricanes. They are a young, inexperienced group that doesn't have the firepower right now to compete with them. They will be back. That's the difference right there. I know you're not a hockey guy. Go back and look at the arena. That is back-to-back days. The Flyers game was Saturday night. What happened after that game? Now, I know you're in hockey at the end of each series when the clinching game is over, the teams do the handshake line.
Mm-hmm.
While they're doing that, and the Flyers are sitting there and they're consoling Dan Vladar, who it sucked for him. Played his behind off in the playoffs in net. Unfortunately, the puck that won the game for Carolina went off his glove, bounced over him, went in the back of the net. It was unfortunate. He was pissed. It was unfortunate because Dan Vladar played his butt off this year for this Flyers team. But look at Saturday night and then look at Sunday. Saturday night, Flyers get swept out by the Hurricanes. Like I said, best team in the NHL. They're probably going to be. They're going to be in the Cup. They're probably going to win the Cup. That's how great of a team they are. But what happened? They got a stand. The Flyers fans gave them a standing ovation for the way they played. They were down 3-0 and took Carolina to overtime and played as hard as they could to keep that series alive. And what happened after the game? They started "Let's go Flyers" chant, gave the Flyers a standing ovation. The Sixers, no one even showed up. That's the difference between organizations in this city. So, Josh Hart, before you open your mouth and talk about the city of Philadelphia, a city of where you played your collegiate basketball in, we are a sports town. We are not a Sixers town because that's what? That organization doesn't care about us. The Flyers do. The Phillies do. Do you think for a split second the Philadelphia Eagles will let Dallas Cowboy fans take over the link?
Never.
I mean, they could try. I can tell you what's going to happen to them. I can definitely tell you what's going to happen to them. But, oh, George, dear God. But, no. My week, it sucks. But like I said, Flyers are on the rise. Phillies are playing better baseball. Eagles are looking. I like what the Eagles are doing. Birds of the Gridiron will be fun this week. You know, Dalton's going to be on with us from 302 Birds, so we'll get to talk to him about his thoughts on the Eagles offseason. We'll talk into that stuff. But, guys, with that being said, we're going to call this a night. Awesome episode to open the week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and talking with us tonight. We greatly appreciate all of you. Back to the normal schedule this week. You have us here tonight, DA After Dark tomorrow night. Hitting Home is back on Wednesday morning. Birds of the Gridiron returns Friday at 8. Dalton Holland from 302 Birds will be joining us as a special guest. We're talking the Eagles offseason with him, giving his thoughts on how he believes the offseason is going. So that should be a very fun show. Guys, we are going to call it a night. We hope you all tuned in and enjoyed tonight's episode. Thank you, everybody who threw in their comments. Thank you, everybody who came on and just came and talked with us. And yep, Georgie, I got you. DA After Dark will be on tomorrow night talking all the late night sports that we want, because why wouldn't we? It's always a fun time. So thank you guys all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Oh, George, we may have a big guest tomorrow. Oh, man, we're working this week. We're working hard this week. So, guys, if you want to see what's going on with DA tomorrow night, give us a look out tomorrow and have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for DA. For Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.
The following has been a presentation of 609 Sports Talk Radio.
Sam, what did you do?